Think the Cretaceous was not the age of the dinosaur. It was a 10-million-year buffet for a monster that should not have been able to walk. You have seen the reconstructions. A crocodile, but bigger. Simple. Logical. Wrong. 82 million years ago, the coastline of what is now North Carolina vanishes into brackish haze. Salt-choked air. Water the color of old tea. And beneath the surface, motionless in 3 feet of murk, something waits. Something that outweighs a Tyrannosaurus rex. Something that has been waiting for 35 years to take its first real bite. Dinosaur. The name means terrible crocodile. But the name is a lie. This is not a crocodile. This is a 14-ton biological siege engine. A hydraulic press wrapped in bone armor. The single most efficient killing machine the Cretaceous ever assembled. And the only evidence of its time on Earth is written in its own armor. Rings of bone. Growth rings. 35 of them. 35 years of silence before it became something that could not be stopped. The bite force alone defies reason. Scientists still argue about the number. The conservative estimate sits at 18,000 newtons. The high estimate? 100,000 newtons. Nearly double the force of a fully grown Tyrannosaurus rex. Enough pressure to collapse the ribcage of a hadrosaur like wet cardboard. If this was the most efficient killing machine the Cretaceous ever produced, the one predator that even tyrannosaurs learned to avoid, then why, 73 million years ago, did it vanish without leaving a single descendant? The estuaries it ruled are gone. The dinosaurs it hunted are fossils. And the Dinosaur left no heirs. No evolutionary echo. Just bones, and those 35 rings of growth, and a question that paleontology still cannot answer. But the bite force is not even the most terrifying part. The real horror begins when you look at its teeth and realize they were not designed to puncture. Crocodilian teeth are supposed to be sharp. Conical. Built for grip. The rear teeth of Dinosaur were blunt. Rounded. Almost like molars. These were not teeth. They were pistons in a biological or crusher. The prey determined the weapon. Hadrosaurs walked these shorelines. Ankylosaurs drank from these waters. Creatures armored with dense bone and thick hide. Dinosaur did not need to pierce. It needed to shatter. And when those teeth came together, they did so with a force that still staggers calculation. 100,000 newtons. Delivered through a skull 1.7 meters long, a reinforced steel vault capable of absorbing 10 tons of recoil from its own jaw muscles. The skull did not flex. It did not bend. It transferred every newton directly into the target. A single bite could pulverize the femur of a dinosaur. Not fracture. Pulverize. But raw force means nothing without precision. And this is where Dinosaur stops being an animal and starts being something closer to a weapons platform. You would never see it. Not even in daylight. Because you are not looking where it is looking. The eyes of Dinosaur sat high on the skull. Split horizon vision. One eye could monitor the waterline while the other tracked the sky. Dual band surveillance. It could detect the silhouette of a dinosaur against the moon while submerged in pitch-black silt. But vision was secondary. The real sensor array was vibrational. Dinosaur did not hear the herd approaching. It felt them. Subsonic pressure waves traveling through the water, frequencies below 20 Hz, sounds that would be silent to human ears. It detected the footsteps of a herd miles before the dinosaurs reached the shoreline. You, standing on that Cretaceous bank, would see a calm estuary. The Dinosaur, submerged in 3 feet of water, would already know your weight, your direction, and how many heartbeats until you were in range. And it did this for 10 million years. A single design. Unchanged. While above it, empires of dinosaurs rose and fell. But how does a 14-ton animal, something heavier than a T-Rex, move through water without leaving a ripple? The answer is in the one piece of anatomy paleontologists overlooked for decades. Those plates on its back. They are not just armor. They are called osteoderms, bone embedded directly into the skin. In most crocodilians, osteoderms protect. In Deinosuchus, they support. They function as external load-bearing points, structural reinforcements that allow a 14-ton body to walk on land without collapsing under its own weight. And when the death roll begins, that iconic crocodilian maneuver, the osteoderms lock together through interlocking connective tissue. The entire body becomes a single, rigid torsion bar. Without this, the creature's own spine would snap from the rotational force. Inside that roll, deep crimson muscle, dense white bone, tension lines stretched to their limit. A controlled demolition. The prey does not drown. It is dismantled. And this is where the 35-year growth cycle becomes the creature's doom. Those same osteoderms that made it invincible also recorded its fatal flaw. Each ring is a year. 35 years to reach full size. 35 years of slow, patient growth. When the estuaries began to shrink, when the western interior seaway retreated, there was no time to adapt. The Deinosuchus was too perfect. Too specialized. It had spent 35 years becoming a god. And gods do not evolve. 82 million years ago, North America was not one continent. A shallow inland sea ran from the Gulf of Mexico to the Arctic, dividing the landmass into two islands. On both shores, estuaries. Brackish water. The Deinosuchus's domain. Stand in that water. Waist deep. The humidity so thick it feels like weight on your chest. The air is warm, not tropical warm, but swamp warm. The kind of heat that does not move, and for 10 million years, stillness won. We build dams. We reshape rivers. We believe we are the ultimate engineers. That we shape our environment. But the Deinosuchus, without intention, without consciousness, controlled the biological ceiling of every land predator on the continent. Not through action. Through presence. Through 35 years of silent growth in brackish water. We build dams. It was one. Go back to those growth rings. The lines in the osteoderm armor that told us its age. 35. But now you see them differently. They are not years. They are not even time. They are 35 seasons of silence. 35 cycles of sun and rain and drought, and not a single wasted movement. 35 years of waiting in black water, invisible, patient, perfect, for the moment when something large enough finally walked too close to the shore. And so we return to the question we asked at the beginning. If the Deinosuchus was the perfect predator, 35 years of growth, 100,000 newtons of force, invisible in 3 feet of water, why is it gone? Why, 8 million years before the asteroid, did this design simply stop? Maybe the estuaries shrank too fast. Maybe 35 years was too long to adapt. Maybe perfection is a trap. Evolution does not reward the best. It rewards the ones who can change. And the Deinosuchus, after 10 million years, could not. Or maybe nature knew exactly what it was doing. It built a god. It ran the experiment. And then it decided the experiment was over. Not with fire. Not with ice. Just silence. The same silence the Deinosuchus had mastered for 35 years. Returned to it. The water is still now. And nothing is waiting beneath it.